Hey everyone, I want to share some tips and tricks when you're creating your 3D anime character. I spent around 30 days creating character from scratch, from basically knowing nothing to creating something like this, which is, well, it's not the most perfect character, but to me it's pretty good enough for my 3D character game assets, or if I want to use it for other projects. So yeah, let's just get started. Okay, the first thing is we'll go from the face. When you're creating a face, make sure that, well, you get references. References to me is insanely important because it will remind you on how you can create your character face and how other people are creating it and what are things that you probably miss. For example, this is my absolute first character model. It's not the best one, I can admit. There's so much lacking details in this model. For example, I hope you can guess it correctly, is the jaw. There is no the amount of jaw in this character is so lacking. That's why it looks a little bit off. Even though the eyes, the nose, the hair, the body is really decent enough. All it takes is just the fact that the jaw itself is lacking that. That's why it looks a little bit off. And if I just make the jaw a little bit bigger, and well, it's still not perfect because you need to improve it quite a bit. But at the very least, you'll get the rough idea on the character. Okay, and this is the mouth. Okay, I'm gonna show the basic. Yeah, it's a little bit normal, but of course there's still a lot of adjustment on the jaw volume. But that's but I know it because I look at the other references on what a character face is supposed to look like. That's one. Another thing is for the jawline. This is probably one of the things that I miss when I'm creating my 3D character, even for some of the recent ones. There is no jawline for my character. It looks very off when you're creating. For a female, it might look just fine, but when you're creating the male character, generally they have less hair. They have shorter hair, and when you how can I say this? When you look from the side, there's something missing, which is the jawline. Creating jawline should not be that hard. You just have to make the side profile a little bit smaller and make this a little bit more indent. Okay, that's for the face. Should be easy enough. Yeah. Moving on, for the other part is the body. The body is probably one of the, well, how do I say this, the most daunting when you look at it. Probably number two, or maybe even number one for some people. The reason why his body has so much parts if you creating it for the first time. But in reality, creating body is probably one of the least daunting compared to the creating hair or creating the face. It's probably the most easiest, because there's so much room for error, and you can hide it with the clothes, you can hide it with other details. You don't have to worry about creating a bad 3D model when it comes to the body, as long as you know how to make one. Okay, I'm gonna go with the basic. When you're creating a 3D body, for me, based on my experience, all you need to do is just create a cylinder with the 8 sides or 8 vertices. Now, why is that? To me, this is probably the most optimal shape that you can create when you're creating tube-shaped body, such as limbs, arms, legs, the body, and the neck. It's minimum enough uh, for modifying. Let's say I want to sub-modify it. I don't really have to worry about anything. Just say I'm just gonna go subdivide this. Pixel number 2, and then you know, go extend this one. Okay, just gonna create this one. Okay, I can still subdivide this, and then let's say I want to create this legs. As you might have known, legs have this slight bump in the front for the thighs, and then for the lower there has this shape. So you need to make sure that you can move the like this, and then oh sorry, wrong order. Like this, and you can move it like this, and yeah, and even if you want to this, you can make it. Well, the point is, it's the most easiest basic 3D shape that you can work with when it comes to limbs. And once you've done creating it, you can adjust it afterwards. Okay, this is the example I've shown you. I use just 8-sided of cylinder, and as you can see, it's just basically stacks of 8-shaped cylinder for my arms, and for the body there's a little bit of subdivision, because for the breast part, yeah, of course, another point is for the breast, you need to use say this insert. Okay, so that you can create your own 3D shape within this set of squares, and you can easily make one. I was having a little bit of confusion on how you can create this part, but yeah, so this is how you can do it. So that's for the body. I know I'm skipping a lot of details, but I just want to make sure that you get the most basic idea of creating your character. So if you take a flashback for creating the face, oh yeah, for creating the face, you can use, well, once again, 8-shape cylinder with a subdivided face for the entire part, or you can just create a cube and subdivide it entirely. This should be enough, and then you can slowly adjust the face. I mean, I'm not sure you can hold on. There you go, this is the face. Okay, not the best, but this is generally the rough idea. You have to make sure that you have each side for the face, and yeah. I'm gonna explain it in another different video. I need to go through the basics for this video, otherwise it's gonna take so much hours explaining every single point in this video. Okay, the next part we've covered the face, of the body. The next one is for the clothes. Now for the clothes, all you have to do for the first time creating it is just taking the mesh from your body. Let's just go for this one. Duplicate this, and my computer almost crashed. Okay, up. Duplicate this, and then you can slowly increase the size, or inflate it, if you might say. You'll end up with this kind of tight skin fabric of clothes, but that should be enough for the basic. If you take a look at the characters such as in video games like Genshin Impact and PC, you'll notice how almost, well, let's just say 90% of the character, they don't even have clothes on them. They just have the basic body shape with the arms and then just painted over them. I went extra mile in creating the fabric, of course, not necessary, and make sure that it has, well, it will look like it has clothes on it, like this one. I could just easily use my basic shape, and maybe I'll even delete some of the detail and just paint it over it, and I'll probably have the same result as creating this decent character. So yeah, for fabric, all you have to do is just rely on your mesh in the body, and you should be good. Okay, next, what else should, okay, the hair. Now hair is probably the most time consuming part in creating 3D. I don't blame you. It's the most defining feature in anime characters, and for me, creating the hair, there are a lot of ways that I've thought about. I've tried. I created using basic mesh. Oops, like this one. Well, it's not the best one, but you know, it's good for the start. Then I slowly, gradually made some incremental improvement, and I have ended up with something like this, which is just another the same concept that I've created earlier, just with extra layer. Now, layering is probably the most important thing in not the most important, one of the most important thing, which is just adding stacks of hair on top of ordinary hair. Now this might sound difficult, especially when you're just creating 3D in Blender maybe, but it's not actually not that hard. You see, the thing is, this might not doesn't sound optimal at all. There might be a better ways in the future if I have known other different ways, but for me, as long as I can create top the top shape first, just the top hair, I can go for the bottom quite easily just by copying it. You see, just press duplicate and then adjust it, and there you go, another layer. And if I want to rotate it, well, I just all I have to do is just I'll just rotate it. See, and then I decided I will just adjust it slightly, just so that it doesn't touch each other. But that's basically what I've been doing to make the character look a lot more believable. Okay, now for hair creating, I use curve, uh, and that's it. I just use curves, and if you don't know how to create one, you can just use actually just use Bezier curve, or if you just want to go raw, go wild, you can use plane and convert it to curve, convert to curve, and then you just adjust it in the, which one is it? Oh god, I'm forgetting things. Hold on. And then you can adjust the profile, which is, well, what is it? Hold on. Okay, you can adjust the profile for the hair, how it will look like. Or you just don't want to use it, you can, well, create manually, but I would recommend you use profile. Okay, that's for the hair. Make sure you get the layering correct, otherwise you will end up with something like this. This is horrible, awful. The layering, well, sure, I have some layering, but it's not. It's uneven and it's all messed up. Don't do the same mistake as I did. Okay, this one is actually a little more decent. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the basic tips that I wish I've known before creating character. Now, of course, this is absolute basic. I don't even know what I've been saying for the whole video. I sound like a half-drunk man, but I'm gonna make another couple of videos explaining how you can create each of them in more detailed explanation. So yeah.